So today I'm here with Polly Brennan from Adventurous Coaching, and she's a life coach, but she introduces something a little bit different into her life coaching, and I'll let her tell you what it's all about.
Thank you very much. Mark, what you said sort of explains what I do. I life coach, as do many people. There's lots of people out there coaching, and I've discovered through experience that adopting an adventurous approach to coaching can uncover more. And I love helping people sort of really uncover their life's adventure. So it can be about a whole host of things. I coach people around a whole range of issues that help them have a more fun and adventurous life.
Obviously, from my point of view, it's video that I want to talk about, and it's
Absolutely.
obviously I've recognised the fact that you've embraced video and you've started to use it. First of all, I want to get an idea of what made you go down that route of starting to use video in your marketing material and your exposure. And then we'll obviously talk about some of the hurdles that you've encountered that everybody
Yes.
does and how you've overcome them, or perhaps some that you haven't overcome. But yeah, why did you get started using video? What was the catalyst to sort of send you down that path?
Well, because I'm fairly new to the world of business, I think I've been trying to explore lots of different ways to sort of become more visible and to get my message out there and to work out who I want to speak to and where are they and how to get a message across. And several different people sort of had suggested. I guess I was doing a little bit of work with Andrew and Pete from Atomic and various different people through networking with more experience than me into marketing and media. We're all sort of suggesting that vlogging and blogging and vlogging are really, really valuable. And also people were telling me that you have to put your message out there in as many different ways as possible for people to digest in different ways. And I was set a bit of a challenge to try vlogging, video blogging, and to get out there and talk about, say something about what I do. And that was quite a terrifying idea for me. And the idea, the challenge that I was set was to do a Facebook Live video kind of session. And I decided I was going to embrace that. And I think I knew what I wanted to say. I wanted to introduce myself and say something. But my first experience of that was starting the process of recording a Facebook Live and then starting to spot people who were watching me. And I wasn't really prepared for that sort of is really happening now and people are watching me. And I have to just confess that what I basically did was an epic fail. I kind of aborted the Facebook Live right in the middle of it because I kind of got freaked out and it was almost like a bit of paralysis. So it was, it felt like a kind of epic fail in the moment that I'd sort of stopped in the middle of a Facebook Live. But I think if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have really recognised where the challenges were for me, and I wasn't. I think I felt more prepared second time round to do something, having done it once and it not working out so well for me, if you know what I mean.
Because obviously you've done a lot of pre-recorded stuff as well as the live. I wasn't
Yes.
actually, even though we had a conversation about it, I knew that you'd done one, but I hadn't realised that you'd
Yes.
done some others. So, what would you say
Yeah.
have been the biggest challenges in the difference between doing it live and pre-recorded from your point of view?
Yeah. Well, so basically at the moment I'm still continuing to pre-record, and I think I'm watching other people do the Facebook Live stuff and thinking, yep, that's the next step for me. So for me, the challenges that came up were discovering that my phone was turned the wrong way, really, and that I needed to have it on its side. So really basic things like that. Making sure my phone was in airplane mode because messages were popping up. And then small things like that can kind of interrupt you in the process and stop you in your tracks. And then, sort of almost like it sort of stops you from completing the recording. Also, just making sure you're not going to be interrupted by other people in the environment. If you're doing it somewhere where there's children around. I've done quite a lot of outdoors pre-recorded videos where people sort of stand behind you or watch what you're doing or walk in the middle of you. So, I mean, you can't always really control that, but certainly there are things you can control that you can predict might happen. Obviously, things like making sure you've got enough storage and your phone's really important. It's another basic, isn't it? But I hadn't thought about these things. So there's lots of little learning points along the way. And I've also started using iMovie, which allows me to take shorter clips of video and then put them together rather than relying on improvising something and having to do it in one go. So I'm sort of learning some very basic techniques around iMovies as well, like, sort of adding a bit of music or fading out one video to the next, or maybe adding videos together, things like that. So it's all very, very amateurish.
Are you doing the iMovie editing on your phone?
Yes, I'm doing it on phone or iPad because I don't have a particularly good computer. So everything's on phone, really. Virtually, my phone is sort of where I'm doing all my stuff. I'm filming it and then editing it, and then iMovies on my phone. So it's quite challenging, but I mean, it's doable. For the level I'm at just now, it's doable. But I feel there's still a lot to learn. I feel like there's probably lots of tips and ideas I could gain that would enhance the quality of what I'm doing.
My last question for you, Polly, is where can you see yourself taking this video stuff? If it's working for you now, where can you see yourself going with it?
It's a great question, because I almost feel like you're sort of encouraging me to set a little bit of an intention in a way and getting me to think ahead, which is really, really useful. I'm contemplating, there's somebody I'd like to interview for my adventure series, and today I had an idea that I might actually go on an adventure with them and use that as a way to ask questions and learn about them. So as we're talking, I'm wondering whether I should go. One of his challenges is to climb, to walk the West Highland Way and climb Ben Nevis. And I was thinking today I might actually go and do part of that with him, or climb Ben Nevis with him. And I am actually just wondering if I should interview him whilst we climb Ben Nevis. I've said that out loud. I think I've just set an intention. Yeah. Oh no! But that's something that, as we've been talking, I've been thinking, well, why not? And that way, I'll have, as well as a sort of blog from a website, I'll have a blog that's related to that person's adventure, but it'll show people us doing the adventure, and it'll connect them to the experience of it. So you got me thinking.
The future looks really bright for you, Polly. So if people want to find out more about you and what you actually do with the coaching side of things, where can they find you?
So I have a website, which is www.adventurouscoaching.com, and I'm on all the mainstream social media forums, platforms like Facebook, Twitter. If you look up Adventurous Coaching, you'll find me. Instagram, all this under Adventurous Coaching. LinkedIn, I'm under Polly Brennan, and I've got a YouTube channel which is called Adventurous Polly, and on there you'll see some adventures that I'm having, and you'll see some coaching videos as well. So that's where I can be found. If anybody wants to look me up, feel free. And if anybody wants to know more either about coaching, about life coaching, adventures, or even just kind of like ask me anything about my experience of getting started with videos, then they're welcome to. However, obviously, if people need advice about how to develop the skills around that, then you're the man for that. So they need to come to you for that.
Well, thank you.
So, yeah, absolutely. And your top tips and encouragement and advice along the way has really, really helped me. So thank you very much for that.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, as always, Polly, because we quite often trip over each other at networking and things. So but it's been really nice to get a bit more of an insight into your journey with video, and I wish you all the success in the future. And thank you very much for today. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's the link at the bottom. And if you click the link at the top, you can have access to a 12-step guide to making better videos with your smartphone. And I hope to see you all again next week.